5G technology, something very significant milestone what India has reached in this week with the launch of this technology, the sales of the spectrum, and the major players coming into this and purchasing the spectrum. Uh, that includes Reliance Jio, which is leading this sector of 5G service offerings. Then we have Airtel and Vodafone Idea as well, and Adani in a small sector, in a small space as a pilot. So these are the players in the field to offer this 5G, and along with this, there is a momentum of creating the hardware as well for this 5G. So what we call telecom infrastructure, and much capex is expected in the coming years. In fact, if we look at the FDI inflow in this sector, then in the first 1.5 decade, 15 years of this century approx, we received nearly $8 billion of FDI, whereas after that, over the last 7 years, we have received more than $20 billion FDI capex investments in this sector. We see the kind of money pouring it in this sector and the potential of fighting the digital divide what we have in the country, in India. This sector, this telecom sector, with this numerous governance reforms, with this current bill, the draft telecommunication bill what we have 2022, the kind of impact these reforms are creating, inviting players and easier norms and ease of doing business ecosystem being provided with lesser burden, undue burdens, what used to happen, what used to plague this industry earlier. So keeping alive the multiple players and realizing the kind of potential which can be offered through this 5G. India is to be taken to $1 trillion of digital economy. That's a vision, a possibility in the coming years, which will be making it 20% of this GDP production in India. And for that, this is the underlying requirement of 5G. There are multiple areas of usage, what we can see. When we talk about 5G, two important properties we need to understand. One is the kind of high speed what it provides for movement of packet of data from one place to another. That is very essential for multiple services and utilities. Second is the low latency period. So the time lag when the original event is happening and when we are seeing it or perceiving it and informing that yes, we have received that information. So that time lag, the low latency is also very critical, especially in the medical field, and when we are watching sports and other, there shouldn't be a delay. And while gaming on cloud also, when we are reacting, and multiple other scenarios where this latency is very critical, and 5G is something which can address that issue. So the kind of utilities is to be explored on what, for instance, in the food tech, in the health tech, critical services, medical services can be provided, leveraging this technology. Then in agri-tech, using drone to provide fertilizers or other information for the farmers in the field, and multiple other utilities are there. There's an environment of sandbox ecosystem being created for entrepreneurs to come in, innovate, and provide solutions. So 5G is something revolutionary. 2022 October, launched in more than 13 cities in India, and with these services we are going to see a rapid exponential growth, and we can proudly say with this, and backed by manufacturing basis of these 5G equipments, what we are trying to build, and the government is trying to provide the momentum. All of those together will keep the momentum of our growth rate very high, and we have the potential to be exponential in our growths in various domains, including digital economy.